attorney. St. Louis attorney is representing a man who was charged and photographed inside the Capitol building during Wednesday's riot. Fox 2 Zara Barker spoke with the attorney, and she found out what he is asking President Trump to do. All new tonight.
Al Watkins, an attorney right here in Clayton, is now representing a man who was inside the Capitol during Wednesday's riots. Now, the attorney, Al Watkins, is asking President Trump to pardon his client. You've likely seen images of this man photographed multiple times inside the United States Capitol during last week's riot, bare-chested, wearing fur, horns, and patriotic colors painted on his face. He's been identified as Jacob Chansley of Phoenix, and he's charged with 4 misdemeanors and 1 felony. Now, St. Louis attorney Al Watkins, who also represented the McCloskeys, is representing him.
My client, Jacob, was one of those committed individuals, and he had followed President Trump. He loved President Trump. And on January 6th, the president spoke to him.
Watkins says Chansley is a veteran with no criminal history.
He has 20 years hanging over his head, the felony charge, because he followed the president, because he accepted the president's invitation.
Watkins says his client was peaceful, unarmed, and had no intention of committing felony acts.
That man's not taking over the country. That man is not leading an insurrection. That man is not doing anything as a shaman other than putting faith in our president and obeying the law enforcement present.
Watkins says Chansley was referred to him. Watkins has been licensed in Washington, D.C. for about 40 years. He says he thought about it long and hard, but chose to represent him.
My obligation is to my client. Always. My duty is not to judge my client. My duty is to be an advocate for my client. Now, all of that being said, this case is very interesting.
Now, Chansley is being held in a Phoenix federal facility in quarantine as a COVID precaution. Watkins says authorities determined he was not a flight risk and will be released pending the trial in Washington, D.C. There's a detention hearing set for Friday in this case. Now, Al Watkins tells me there is going to be times that him and his client will have to travel to Washington, D.C. for the trial. From Clayton, Zara Barker, Fox 2 News.
Okay, so, this guy just thought it was a good idea to break the law, and he didn't think there was no consequences coming out of that. Okay. I don't know how that makes any sense, and the lawyer's just, doing the case because of the publicity it will give him, the relevance. He'll enter other cases. But the excuse that he loved Trump, that he thought he was following the president, is not going to fly. He's facing 20 years. 20 years. Ouch. That's a lot of hard time. A lot. Lawyer of Arizona man wearing horns during U.S. Capitol riots asking President Trump for pardon. The lawyer of the Arizona man who was wearing horns during the U.S. Capitol riots is now asking President Trump to pardon him. Jacob Chansley's St. Louis lawyer, Albert Watkins, is asking Trump to do the honorable thing and pardon those of his peaceful followers who accept the president's invitation. According to the press release Thursday, last Saturday morning, Chansley, also known as Jake Angeli, turned himself into the FBI office in Phoenix. Chansley was seen inside the U.S. Capitol on January 6 wearing horns, a bearskin headdress, red, white, and blue face paint, no shirt, tan pants. He also had a spear with an American flag. That American spear could also have been used as a weapon. I'm just saying. Dressed as a shaman, right? And back in the day, shamans were also armed with, you guessed it, spears. And, sorry, that American flag spear could be used as a weapon, as I just said. He is currently facing a 6-count federal indictment and is being held at a Phoenix federal facility. Mr. Chansley is an American. He served honorably in the U.S. military, Mr. Watkins said. He has zero criminal history. He is a lover of nature, routinely practices meditation, and actively practitioner of yoga, and eats only organic food. He took seriously the countless messages of President Trump, and he believed in the president like tens of millions of other Americans. Chansley felt for the first time in his life as though his voice was being heard, the release stated. Here's a Twitter message from Nicole Grigg, the lawyer for Jacob Chansley, aka Q Shaman, wants a pardon by the President Donald Trump, according to a press release sent to at Nick Saletti. It would be appropriate and honorable for the president to pardon Mr. Chansley and other like-minded peaceful individuals. Thing is, you people had a choice, but you just believe the president. You believe anything he says. Okay, even if, look, even if he was robbed of the presidency, that doesn't give you the right to go and riot and try to storm Capitol Hill. Okay, because there are consequences. Doesn't matter. You were involved in a riot. Doesn't matter if you're peaceful. Okay, others there were not. A 33-year-old who, according to former classmates, grew up in Phoenix and attended Moon Valley High School, appeared in court telephonically on Monday, where he was initially facing 2 misdemeanor charges. During the court appearance, the public defender said Chansley was an extremely restrictive diet, believed to be due to religious reasons, and has not eaten since he was taken into custody. It's not a good idea. Watkins also claimed that Chansley did not hide his identity during the U.S. Capitol riots and was not violent during the events. Mr. Chansley did not hide his identity. Mr. Watkins said in a press release he was unarmed, he was not violent, he was not destructive. His attire was consistent with his long-held shaman beliefs. While in the Capitol building, he followed the instructions of supportive and respectful law enforcement personnel. He did not bear arms, but rather sported a megaphone so his voice could be heard. When alerted to the fact that the federal law enforcement officials were interested in him, he immediately and peacefully surrendered himself to the FBI. Watkins also added, My client had heard the oft-repeated words of President Trump. The word and invitation of a president are supposed to mean something, given the peaceful and compliant fashion in which Mr. Chansley comported himself. It would be appropriate and honorable for the president to pardon Mr. Chansley and other like-minded peaceful individuals who accepted the president's invitation with honorable intentions. Honorable intentions. The minute you see people were storming the Capitol and breaking stuff, you should have cleared out. He's expected back in court in Phoenix Friday afternoon, according to a federal court website. Now, here's the thing. President Trump has already denounced the acts of those protesters who are acting violently and stuff like that. Okay? And you don't think they're trying to ask for a pardon as well? You don't think they're trying to get out of this situation that they're in, that they're facing federal time? They're going to be doing time in a federal prison? You don't think they're going to be asking for a pardon from President Trump? Trump played you guys, played you well. And he's going to follow that script that he's already made for himself, that he denounces the domestic terrorist acts, even though he incited that riot, even though he incited these people to riot. He is not going to be, you know what, I'm going to pardon you. I'm going to pardon you. Sorry, guys. I feel bad for leading you on and having you guys go on this wild goose chase to just destroy things. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. No, he's not going to do it. He's going to be political. He's going to try and save face, and he's going to be Mr. Law and Order. Even though, and he'll even give a speech denouncing it, when he should have given a speech long ago to control these MAGA supporters that are totally out of their minds. You know, the ones that are white supremacists, skinheads, that just wanted to, support Trump. But Trump didn't denounce them from the beginning. But now he's doing it because somebody had to have talked to Trump and set him straight. Somebody had to do that. And Trump's not going to back down on his word. He wants to make himself look good. As I said before, Trump only cares about Trump. And unfortunately, these MAGA supporters have to learn that the hard way. Well, if you like the content, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.